Good evening, everyone. Before we get started, just a quick reminder to make sure you shut your cell phones off, put them on silent mode. Please also watch the flash photography. It just, it gets a little bright in here. So again, good evening. My name is Eric Fulmar. I'm the Associate Department Chair for the Physical Therapy, Movement, and Rehab Sciences Department, and it's my distinct honor to welcome you all here on behalf of our faculty and the Doctor of Physical Therapy program, and welcome you all to the Class of 2025 White Coat Ceremony. Before we get started, I want to take a couple minutes to remember a beloved faculty member of ours and who we dedicate this ceremony to. Dr. Mary Hickey, we lost just over a year ago and really was the heart and soul of this program. And her impact on the program continues to be lasting. I know all of you didn't get an opportunity to meet her, but we want you to get to know her a little bit and what her impact is going to be going forward. So we have a little video to share about her.
Mary was a friend and a colleague for 20 years, and I was very fortunate to be a co-faculty with her on a number of different classes. I would say she was masterful at the class and how to have the students be the center of the class. And even though we all talk student-centered, Mary was truly the epitome of student-centered teaching, and the students would always find within themselves and the ability to share and teach one another, and really then could take that forward in their professional life and career, which is really what we all need to be able to do.
Yeah, I always loved sitting next to Mary during hooding, and because she would be like, the first time I sat next to her, I remember she's like, Maureen, okay, so this is great. Everyone looks beautiful, but look at their shoes, right? She was all about the shoes and like how everyone just looked amazing and so confident and, accomplished all their goals. She was just beaming. Like it was like one of her favorite days, and it turned into one of my favorite days as well. And I think partly because she gave me that little background information and that insight to the day and how much work these students did to get there.
One of the last things I worked on with Mary, which was with a student who was really struggling on co-op, and Mary talked with this student and her mother. She said they had a lovely conversation, and then Mary went on leave, I think, shortly after that. So I just realized after that just how unwavering her dedication was to students. At the time I did not know what she was going through, but looking back I realized that just, I think, really shows her dedication to students and her willingness to help them as much as she could. And I find that really inspirational. And I think that one great way to honor her is to consider donating to the Dr. Mary J. Hickey Endowed Scholarship Fund to help celebrate Dr. Hickey and her legacy at Northeastern.
So again, Dr. Hickey's legacy here will be long-lasting, well beyond her time here. And one thing we want to encourage, if you have the ability, the scholarship fund is something we're looking to build for future students, and for her impact to last many generations. So if you have the ability, this is the QR code, certainly to link to her scholarship, also that you can find it on our website. So. All right, students. Students of the class of 2025, family, faculty, guests, we're delighted to have you here. This is, again, the beginning and the ends of this program with our graduation ceremonies are two of our favorite times here as faculty for sure. We welcome you here both in person and virtually. It's nice to be in person as always. But we're really looking to celebrate you all and your next steps in this journey. The White Coat Ceremony is a long-standing tradition within all medical professions, not just in physical therapy. It's a path to the acknowledgement of your professional responsibility as a healthcare provider. Today, we celebrate with you all Northeastern University Doctor of Physical Therapy class of 2025. You are among thousands of alumni who have been part of this more than 100-year-old program, one of the oldest in the country. So thank you. Students, being here today signifies a significant milestone on your path to becoming a physical therapist. You have continued in the professional curriculum thus far, and in a few short years, yes, you will graduate and become licensed physical therapists. I know that seems a ways off now. You're going to be some of our frontline workers of the future. Throughout these next few years and throughout your career, it's important to keep a few things in mind. First, your educational path and your career are yours. And it's one of the great things about our career profession in general is you have the ability to make of your career what you want it. They are very individual. But you're undoubtedly going to receive a lot of support and guidance along the way from those here with you today and many more. However, your final decisions are always yours to make. Second, use your resources that you have available. You are led here by a faculty that is highly regarded in the profession and are leaders throughout our profession and throughout our professional association, the American Physical Therapy Association, which guides us as a profession. And yeah, I do probably know a little bit about APTA, that's for sure. You might hear it once or twice. But at your fingertips, you have access to the APTA, you have access to this amazing faculty of leaders in our profession. Use them. Use these resources throughout your time here. Eventually, you're going to be colleagues of ours, and again, we are all here as resources. Finally, and most importantly, your patients are already counting on you. Believe it or not, yes, they are already counting on you. They're counting on you to learn everything in the classroom, on cooperative education and in clinical education as well. Your education is for their benefit as it is for you, and you're going to be the therapist they count on one day, and I'll probably count on you too. So today you receive your white coat symbol, a symbol of the doctoral profession. The white coat ceremony has become an academic ritual in the health professions, a ceremony that signals a transformation of status from an ordinary student to that of one studying to become a health professional. The white coat ceremony is an initiation of sorts into the realm of the physical therapy profession. While donning the white coat is a sign of a changed role, the white coat itself is a powerful symbol of transformation. White is a symbol of purity, and the white coat symbolizes the purity of purpose being affirmed into becoming a healthcare professional. Allowing these white coats to assist you in instilling the values of our profession, guiding your decisions, and preparing you for your future patients. Along the way, just know that the collective faculty are here to support you in any way we can, not just grade you. Ask questions, ask for help, share your stories. We're all here to learn and take this journey with you together. As we start the ceremony, I'd like to welcome Dr. Trent Honda, Associate Dean and Clinical Professor here on behalf of the School of Clinical and Rehab Sciences and Bouvé College to welcome you all. Dr. Honda.
Hello, I'm Trent Honda, the Associate Dean of the School of Clinical and Rehab Sciences, and it is my honor on behalf of the college and the School of Clinical and Rehab Sciences to welcome you and your families to really this momentous occasion. I had the opportunity before the event to see the tremendous research that you all have done as part of your education, and it was humbling because I knew nothing about anything that you were talking about, but I got to learn so much. And part of the reason I know nothing is that I'm not a physical therapist, but I am a runner. And what I learned is that runners are notorious. In particularly 3 areas, right? And I was checking off boxes while I was listening to the presentations about how this might fit me. The first is that runners get hurt a lot, check. The second is that runners need a lot of physical therapy, also check. And then the third is that runners aren't necessarily the most adherent patients. Check. So my commitment to this class is to be a better physical therapy patient moving forward. Yeah, I know, it's tough, right? The milestone that you all have reached is really tremendous, and it's a testament to the work that you've put in because you are going to school at the preeminent school for physical therapy education in the country, and you are being taught by the preeminent experts in your field. And when you're being challenged by the preeminent experts in your fields and you rise to that challenge, it's truly remarkable. And so I congratulate all of you for what you've accomplished so far. And thank you very much for the opportunity to celebrate with you today.
Thank you, Dr. Honda. Now it's my pleasure to welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. Michelle Colley. Dr. Colley is the founder and CEO of Performance Physical Therapy, a multi-clinic practice with over 20 locations in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Performance Physical Therapy is poised to grow throughout the Northeast, an innovative practice where clinicians truly practice as primary care providers. Michelle serves as the president of the APTA of Rhode Island as well, and is the treasurer of the APTA private practice. Michelle is a board-certified orthopedic clinical specialist. She completed her undergraduate training at the University of Otago in New Zealand, and her MS and DPT degrees here in Boston at MGH IHP. She now lives in Providence with her husband and 2 teenagers, 2 dogs, and 3 cats. So, welcome, Dr. Colley.
I don't know what it is about the 2 dogs and 3 cats that always makes people laugh. It's like, is she a crazy cat lady or what? Anyway, thank you, Eric. I appreciate the introduction, and I will just correct you now since I know that you care about how you speak, and it is Otago University. But what a delight and what an honor it is to be before you on this very special day, a day that marks an important point in your journey and in your clinical experiences and working with real patients who are actually real people, just like your neighbors and your friends, your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, people that you like and maybe some that you don't. Today marks a point in your journey as a clinician where you're given the opportunity and what I would call an actually privilege to evaluate and treat and empower your patients, no matter who they are, to feel better, to move, to rest, to work, to play, and to live. In the weeks and the months to come, you will ask your patients about their symptoms, their pain, their medical history, and their goals. You'll observe patients and their integumentary systems, their posture, their quality of movement, and their gait. You will measure range of motion, flexibility, and strength, assess soft tissue and joint mobility, balance, coordination, and more. And while considering the anatomy and the physiology, you'll be thinking about how you'll treat these patients. You will return to your lecture notes, your textbooks, that's assuming there still are textbooks. You'll ask for guidance from your clinical instructors, your professors and friends, and you may resort at times to Google. You will question your own knowledge and your abilities, and you will fight a little bit of imposter syndrome, wondering if your patients too are questioning your knowledge and your abilities. Imagining how you're all feeling and what you're about to experience, I asked myself a question. What advice would I tell my 24-year-old self? The 24-year-old self whose head was bursting with knowledge, but who had rarely laid their hands on a patient. I asked this as when I was your age, having trained in New Zealand, we were very manual therapy focused. I wanted to do nothing more than get my hands on a patient and manipulate and mobilize as many joints as I possibly could. So rewarding it was to manipulate a patient and give them the instant pain relief. But as my experience evolved, I learned that there was one skill, there was one thing that was more important than any other treatment technique, any other modality, any other gadget or tool. There was one thing that I would like my younger self to have appreciated more, and that is the art and the skill and the ability to listen. And not just listening to get the facts about a patient, and not just listening to figure out how to respond to a question, but actively listening to hear what the patient had to say, listening to learn, listening to understand, and listening to truly connect with your patients. With listening and understanding and connection comes trust. And trust, my friends, is when the magic happens. A patient who trusts you will listen to you. They will listen to your advice, even the runners. They will participate in the shared decision-making, and they will follow through with your recommendations and the home program. And with this will become the magical outcomes that we also strive to help our patients find. So I urge you all to slow down when you head to the clinics, the hospitals, or a patient's home. Stop the voice in your head that's distracted, thinking about what you're going to do in the weekend. The voice in your head that's making assumptions or even judgments about a patient. And focus 100% of your attention on your patient. Listen to their words, listen to their tone, listen to their annotations. Be curious. Listen and observe and figure out what they are not telling you and what could support your clinical decision-making and the development of a plan of care that is truly individualized for this patient, this person. The 50-year-old with knee OA now becomes the father who really wants to ski again with his teenage sons. Not necessarily the double black diamond run, but wants to get on the chairlift and at least go down the cruiser. So you're no longer optimizing mobility and strength and increasing the time before he may need a total knee replacement, but you're actually allowing this dad to enjoy some really quality time with his kids. Then there's a 16-year-old girl with an ACL repair. She's now the devastated teenager whose dream of being on a championship basketball team is gone. The post-surgical protocol, of course, is still applicable, but you will now be empathetic to her destroyed self-identity and incorporate advice and exercises that motivate her, inspire her, and support her throughout the rehabilitative process. And you never know. You could influence the 16-year-old girl who one day would be a physical therapist, just like my physical therapist motivated and influenced and listened to me, because yes, that was me, the 16-year-old devastated basketball player with the ACL repair. I had been a physical therapist for only 1 year when I was suddenly given the case of the 15-year-old boy, the victim of a house fire, who had spent many months at Shriners Burn Institute. Compression bandages head to toe and confined to a wheelchair, this boy somehow ended up with me, an inexperienced 25-year-old physical therapist who had never even seen a burn patient. I worked with that patient, just me, an hour a day, 5 days a week, for many, many months. As I overcame my own self-doubt, my insecurities and fear about my responsibilities for taking care of a patient so involved, I learned to listen. I listened as I stretched and stretched, utilizing every technique to optimize his mobility. I listened to the descriptions of pain and discomfort and his body's responses to the work that I did. I was curious and asked questions, and I heard firsthand what it was like to be a burn victim. We connected and trust was gained. This patient soon became to me the boy who really wanted to throw a baseball again. He loved baseball. The bandages were gradually removed. We worked on strength and balance, and he learned to walk again, and of course, throw a baseball. That to me was the magic. I was given the opportunity and the privilege to help this boy feel better, to move, to play, and to live his life. Speaking of feeling better, I was standing in line 3 weeks ago purchasing some New Zealand wine at a liquor store, headed to an APTA Rhode Island annual meeting. I'm not sure if the president of the APTA Massachusetts chapter provides wine to his guests at his meeting. And I handed over my credit card to a young man behind the register. Instead of asking me for my ID, He stated, "Oh, performance physical therapy. I went to physical therapy," he stated. Of course, I'm always curious to hear about people's experiences, and I asked the young man who he saw. What intrigued me is the young man stated, "Oh, I don't remember the physical therapist's name, but I do know that he made me feel better, and I'm now at work again and I feel great." This man did not list all the things we do as physical therapists. He didn't even remember the physical therapist's name, but he did remember how we made him feel. The late Maya Angelou has a wonderful quote. "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." We are in the business of helping people feel better. How lucky are we? Over the last few years, our profession has been impacted by the opioid epidemic and the COVID pandemic. Digital health, access to care, provider burnout, DEI, alternative payment models, these are all things that are impacting our profession and our communities we serve in different ways. But despite all of this, I urge you all to consider and remember the one thing that remains true through all of this noise. When you're with your patient, that real person, stop, focused, be mindful, and listen. Listen to understand, to connect, and to build that trust. And when you build trust with your patients, the magic will happen. Today marks an important point in your journey as a clinician, where you're given the opportunity and the privilege to evaluate and treat, and to listen, and to empower, and magically help your patients, no matter who they are, to feel better, to move, to rest, to work, to play, and to live their lives. Congratulations.
Thank you, Michelle. Just such a powerful message there all the way through. Michelle is a dear friend, but more importantly, she is a leader in our profession. She's an advocate for you all being truly doctors of physical therapy. And again, just thank you so much for that. Now I have the pleasure of welcoming Jeremy Breen to the podium. Jeremy's a third-year DPT student in this program. Jeremy was selected by a handful of faculty to speak to their experiences in the program. All right, and through the journey that you're about to embark on. So I think Jeremy can offer plenty of words of wisdom here. So, Jeremy, welcome.
This up a little bit. Hello, everyone. Yeah. Thank you for having me here. I am excited to have this chance to speak with you all today. My name is Jeremy, like Dr. Fulmer was saying, and I am in my final year here at the DPT program. So right now I'm getting ready to leave for my final 2 clinical rotations in just a few weeks, and you're going to learn what all that means if you don't already know. But for me, it just means that the end is in sight. Finally. So I was pretty surprised when I was asked to speak tonight. I wouldn't always consider myself the public speaking type because like 90% of my personality is just being tall. But I think it's it's a testament to the relationships that we can build with our faculty here. I mean, they get to know us past that face value, and they really bring out strengths that we don't always see in ourselves. So 2 years ago, I would reread an email to Dr. Fulmer about 15 times before hitting send, and tonight he didn't even proofread my speech. So I'm going to do my best not to make him regret that, but the point is that we have a great group of faculty here, and I hope you're all having an opportunity to see that in the last few months. I would like to focus in on the faculty for this first part because they're more than just the faculty, right? Like these are people with real lives and experiences outside of our program, and I find that those experiences are underutilized by us as a student body. I think it's safe to say that I've learned as much here outside of the classroom as I have in it, just from casual conversations. I mean, you ask questions after class, while you're waiting for lab to start in the morning, really any opportunity I've had recently, and that's something I wish I had capitalized on a lot sooner as a student. So my first pro tip for everyone here tonight is ask your faculty like random questions after class. And sure, you can ask questions about coursework too, but like truly random questions. Two of my best friends here, their names are Ariane and Olivia. They have this mastered. They'll come up to, and pick a name, anyone after class, and they'll ask them what vegetable they would marry if given the chance. Why? I don't know. But what I do know is that somehow or another, the resulting conversations ends up not only improving my relationship with that faculty member, usually results in some PT-related tangent that I can take something away from going forward. So chat after class, chat before class, chat in the hallway. The conversations you have with our faculty are not graded. Adam can't stop you from asking him what kind of car he drove in college, any more than Dr. Solo can fail you for asking about her high school prom. I'm going to save those punchlines for later. But and while I'm mentioning failing, I'd like to talk about grades for a second. This is the part Dr. Fulmer's going to wish he had proofread. Grades, they're important. Let me back up. Okay, so at some point, just about everybody here is going to fail a test. Such is life, right? I've done it. The first pediatrics exam, it kicked my butt. Rather than just tell you to be ready for that, though, I don't really like that. Instead of being ready for that, like prep to fail an exam, I'd like to kind of change the perspective a bit on what exams are and really what school is for. Because a lot of my friends and friends I made in other PT cohorts, they kind of fall into this trap of school being one big test. Like, if you can pass all these classes, you can get through your clinicals, at the end of this all, you're going to be fit to be a PT and you can ride off into the sunset and you can practice however you want. And that's not really how school should be in my mind. Because if you think about why you're here tonight, why you've been taking classes already, why you've been taking classes the last couple months, why you even got accepted to this program in the first place, there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is that you've shown somehow or another that you are fit to be a physical therapist. This is a competitive program. You didn't just stumble into it. They're not picking random people to be here. You've done a lot of things right already and shown that you have what it takes to be a successful PT. So we're not here taking all these classes to prove that we're capable of something. We've proven that. You've proven that. What we're here to really do is refine what kinds of physical therapists we're going to become to then practice at the highest level in our field. An easy example for you. I think you've all covered like the concept of the cookie cutter approach to physical therapy, where you treat every patient the same, you give them the same treatment plan day in, day out. Like, that's a great example of a physical therapist that you will not be. And then on the other hand, you're going to have some assignments where you have to provide several sources, you have to find recent studies to support hypotheses. At some point, you're even going to conduct your own research study by the time you're in my shoes, like we just finished up with a couple hours ago. And that's all playing into you being an evidence-based physical therapist, which you should be. So when you take an exam, it doesn't go well. You get the grade back, and it's the kind where you look at the number on your screen and you just kind of close your laptop. Like, that's not saying that you're done, right? It's not saying, like, pack up your stuff and go home. No, like, it means, damn, I should have spent some more time on that. I should have asked a few more questions and really done a better job of internalizing this content, because this is information I should know if I want to practice at the top of my profession when the time comes, right? So don't prepare for an inevitable failed exam. Prepare to learn something from it if that time comes. Because that's what you do, right? That's what we're here to do, to learn, to grow. That's the whole general gist of this. So you're in a new environment. You're hanging out with new people. You're studying new things. All of that's kind of how you find yourself, and set the tone not just for the type of PT, but the type of person you want to be when this is all said and done. I mean, I look back at those emails from 2 years ago, and it's ridiculous how much more professional I am, and I don't even remember working on that at any point. It's just, like, it's accumulation of experiences that turns you into yourself. So try new things, and not even academic things. Like, a group of us organized pickup basketball games at the Marino Center. It was a great way to take our minds off studying for a few hours and blow off some steam, right? That's easy. And then another group of us with slightly different intentions went to a bottomless pasta night in South Boston. We ate until we couldn't anymore. I mean, it's all just experiences. And a side note there, everyone had 3 big bowls of pasta that night. I myself managed to force down 6 bowls of pasta. I only regretted it a lot. So anyway, moving on. Join a club. Like, you can meet some people outside the cohort, get some more experiences there. You could even join the e-board of a club. I am the treasurer of a club called the American Academy of Orthopedic Manual Physical Therapists Student Special Interest Group, or AMP-SIG for short. And I can't tell you the number of things I've learned just from taking on a relatively minor leadership position. Mostly that I now hate organizations with excessively long names. But don't let your time here at Northeastern be defined only by the DPT program you're a part of. Like, the school has a lot of resources, and more than you might realize. It just takes a few questions to be pointed in the right direction. But really, aside from the school offering new things, you'll be surprised what things you take an interest in just by getting to experience them with the people around you right now. This shared experience, I don't think I'm allowed to say trauma, so this shared experience of a doctoral level degree, it drives a type it drives a type of friendship, really, to have these people around you. And I personally had not experienced that kind of friendship at any other steps on the road to here and now. So use that. Use the people around you and offer your support when you can, and don't be afraid to ask it when you need it, right? Like, be there for each other. So this is going to be tough. There are going to be points where you wish you were anywhere but here. But a few years from now, when you see your first patient all by yourself, you nail the intake, you create your own plan of care, you see them getting better every visit, I mean, that's a feeling you didn't know you wanted until it happens. So look forward to that feeling. Look forward to the experiences ahead of you, and most of all right now, look forward to the rest of tonight. Be proud of what you had to do to get here, and make sure you take lots of pictures for the memories. I highly recommend everyone stop by Baracus after this and get a picture on that sign on the staircase that says George D. Baracus Health Sciences Center. You'll thank me later. Tag me on Insta. So that's all I got for you tonight. Thank you again for having me here, and a sincere congratulations on making it here tonight. I look forward to seeing you all at graduations.
That's fantastic. And I'm sure many of you here could relate to exactly what Jeremy was talking about. So, and again, you know, seeing Jeremy up here and the amount of growth in himself and the class, you know, we're fortunate we get to see that. We know where you all will be in a few years. So thank you for sharing that, Jeremy. Well, now it's that time. It's the time for the coats. So if I could have our ushers start to lead our students up to stage. Yes, Maureen, that's you. and I'd like to invite Dr. Adam Thomas, Dr. Matt Nippens, Dr. Pam Donlin up to the stage area as your coders for the evening. Do we have our coats when we're done? All right. All right. So first, we have Gabrielle Adams. Donna Al-Hunaidi. And Brooke Albert. Oops. They're going to go up and around. And can I ask to hold the applause until all three are on stage? Just to all right. Jensen Alvarado, Sophia Appel, and Elizabeth Avery. Brianna Battle Santos, Boone Pakdipum, and Zachary Blackwood. Next, we have Emily Brown, Ann Bouvé, and Mackenzie Burns. Next, we have Riley Cute, Robert Danielian, and Ashley Ferry. Laurel Fournier, Evangelos Fradilakis, and Juliana Francois. Next, we have Nikki Freeman, Claire Gagliano, and Dustin Grimm. Josh is not getting his white coat. So. All right, next we have Melissa Haas, Alyssa Hatch, and Robert Helliwell. Abigail Hansen, Courtney Iftiger, and Taemin Kang. All right, Kevin Carote, Kayla Kollerich, and Alexander Konert. We put all the tallest with Pam here, so. Next, we have Mary Grace Copas, Aaron Lotwas, and Pamela Law. All right. Kevin Liu, Gabriela Machado, and Matthew Martino. Next, we have Hannah McGettigan, Reina Medeiros, and Elliot Muller. Next, we have Jevin Nguyen, Amelia Nirmala, and Brittany Norman. Next, we have Farrell O'Shaughnessy, Marie Akubo, and Disha Patel. Next, we have Gabriella Pawelka, Caitlin Pelletier, and Kayla Peluso. All right. Nicholas Pomachan, Haley Pindell, and Venice Rasulis. Now we have Bailey Rassel, Trish Rizzo, and Allie Rogerson. All right. Rebecca Russo, Sarah Sample, and Brendan Sardella. This was very intentional. Next, we have Ian Sagala, Mohammed Sheikh, and Isabella Sheen. Next, we have Sabrina Silva, Skylar Steblin, and Ashley Stiles. Jack Stone, Liz Tynan, and Soviet Vang. Now we have Matthew Victoria, Catherine Wallace, and Diki Wangmo. Now we have Sydney Wazlewski, Michaela Weinstock, and Connor Whitehead. Now Kate Wilkie, Shondell Williams, and Caroline Wilson. And last but not least, we have Shu Zhengong, Jenna Yang, and Stephanie Zara. One more round of applause for and maybe another round of applause for those unbuttoning the jackets back here. So now I'd like to welcome Dr. Chris Cesario up to initiate the oath of the physical therapist.
So before I do that, I wanted to congratulate everybody on being here. I want to wish those of you that are going on your cooperative education experience next month to take every opportunity to learn, connect with patients as much as you can, learn that they're the North Star for why you are here. Michelle's point about that, about making the patients be about whatever you do, should really hopefully be taken to heart. For those of you that continue your academic journey in the winter, maybe listen to some of what Jeremy said, press on. It's not an easy road. I wouldn't use the trauma word, but But you know, kind of keep your head up. You know, one thing I'll just point out that Jeremy was humble enough to say, he started his journey during July of 2020, and I think if we all go back to what we were doing in July of 2020, that wasn't probably the easiest time to begin your journey towards a doctorate of physical therapy. So, you know, keep that in mind that, you know, everyone has their resilient journey to become a physical therapist, and we're all here to help you. So with that, I'm going to ask all the physical therapist students to please stand up. And the faculty can join. So if you could repeat after me. If you can all raise your right hand, please. I pledge to hold faithful to my responsibility as a physical therapist. Use the highest science and skills of my profession at all times. Exercise judgment to the highest degree of which I am capable when determining treatment to be offered, and to refrain from treatment when it will not benefit the patient. Identify and address social determinants of health and promote health equity and justice for all my clients. Uphold and preserve the dignity of every person placed in my care. Regardless of their identity, and advocate for those who have been systematically oppressed and historically excluded. Hold all confidences in trust and speak up when I see or hear injustices, even within myself. Exercise all aspects of my calling with pride and honor. Commit myself to the highest ideal of service, to lifelong learning and pursuit of knowledge. And engage in examination of bias and pledge to practice with cultural humility. These things I do swear. You may be seated.
All right. Well, congratulations, class of 2025. You now have your white coats. It's officially time to go study. So, sorry, no. Now, we know you all have dinner plans or some plans after this, so please enjoy. But for a few moments, there are refreshments in the atrium, and there is a photographer doing headshots in one of the classrooms as well. But before you head out to your families or to the headshots, I'd like all of the students, once we process out, to head to the left to the stairwell for a group photo before you disperse, all right? And faculty as well, yes. So again, congratulations, everybody, and welcome to the profession.